Welcome back to the Final Whistle podcast. From you see the face and you hear the voice. It is Javon, and I'm back with another banger, another one-on-one with Javon. We got the man that's stringent for the club, the man that stands up for the club, the man that defends the club and wears it like a badge of honor. We got Guni in the building.
Yes, man. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for the invite. Big up everyone that's watching. You know what I mean? Make sure you show some love to the channel. Very impressed with what you're doing as well, man. Like I can see, the intro is very impressive. Conversation we had before this, you've got your mind going the right way. So keep it up, man. Keep it up. But once again, thank you. Thank you for bringing me on.
Bless up, bro. Respect. Guni, wagwan.
I'm there, brother. I'm there still.
Yeah. Bless up, bro. Let's get right into it. Everyone knows what the first question is gonna be. First of all, he's here to share his story and his journey during this content creation. We know Guni, we know what he stands for, but let's have him tell us his story. Guni, wagwan, why Chelsea? Let's get into it.
Right, so where do you want me to start? Like, where do you want me to go?
Yeah, all right. At what age and what time did you fall in love with Chelsea? How did that relationship start?
All right, so my relationship with football didn't actually start with club football. Do you know what I mean? It was more of R9, as everyone knows, my favorite player. When I was a kid, the first time I watched him, like, just move with the ball. And just see, I didn't know what I was, because when you're small, like, you don't fully understand what you're looking at, but your eyes are showing you this is something that is not normal. Why are all the other players not doing it? So, like, you know what I'm saying? So every morning, right? I used to wake up at like 6 a.m. or something like that on Sundays. Like, being a youth, I'm talking like 6, 7 years old, maybe even like 5 years old. And I used to put on Channel 4, and I used to put on Italia 90 or Italia football, the Golazzo. I used to watch that. And every time, bro, I'd just be like, when is Ronaldo coming on? When is Ronaldo coming on? That's all I would wait for. So that's how I fell in love with the game. And then through just solely hunting for R9, I would start seeing other players like, hold on a second, this guy Batistuta is actually a bad boy. He can strike the ball. This guy Del Piero is actually a mad thing. Who's this Lilian Thuram guy? Now I'm starting to see that football is just more than Ronaldo. And then I wanted to start doing it. Do you know what I mean? That's when I started going outside. Those were the times where, kids were actually outside. We weren't on video games and all them kind of things there. Our entertainment was just, working with nature outside, or just whatever we had between each other as youths. And in our case, it was a football. Yeah, and we were naughty kids as well. We done other things on the side. We're getting twisted, but mainly for us, it was the love of football. We love football. So we just used to go on the ends, just literally like go to the green, get the ball, and we'd pretend that we were players. I would call R9 every single time. Brother,
brother,
this.
I am, brother. Where there when people there when I got my first Chelsea jersey and Oscar was on the back of it, and I'm running to the midfield. Oscar on the ball. Looks up. Looks for Ronaldo.
Yeah. So at first, that's what it was for me. So I just love football. And then, like, obviously with me, I grew up at that time I was in a single parent household, like African mum, she don't know nothing about football. So I didn't really have nobody to guide me, to show me which team to be supporting. So, like, for the first few years, it was, I'd be following players. Like, I'd appreciate an Eric Cantona at Manchester United. I'd appreciate a so-and-so at a different club. Do you know what I mean? And then it was when I started hanging out a lot more with my cousins. And they was like, brother, you can't just be doing this thing where you like an Arsenal player, you like a Chelsea player, you like a Man United player, like that thing.
I have a pick a side.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, you got to pick a side. Yeah. And then at first, like, because remember them sticker books, the Premier League sticker books, I didn't know which team to pick. So man went through the sticker book, yeah. And I seen, and like, no word of a lie, bro, the first black player that I seen was John Barnes. And I said, yeah, whatever this team is, Liverpool. My cousin, are you mad, bro? Do you sound like you're a Scouse fan? Yeah? Get out of here. You got to pick a London team, innit? And he's like, furthermore, you're from Northwest London. Yeah, you should be supporting either Arsenal or either Tottenham or one of the local teams there. Yeah, maybe Chelsea. Maybe Chelsea, because I'm a Chelsea supporter. That's what my cousin said. I'm a Chelsea supporter. So, from my big cousin said he was a Chelsea supporter, I just said, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to follow big cousin. So that's what it was. It was a Chelsea thing, bro. It was a Chelsea thing from there. Every time there was a game, like when I'd go over to my cousins, we'd watch the game. He'd educate me about the game. And the thing is that my cousin could play as well. So that's why I looked up to him. Like my cousin could play, like he had a lot of hype around the area and stuff. So I used to go with him to watch games and that. So I was like very much involved, like with his development. So because I started to love football and he had a path, I was like, he was like a big brother to me. He was like, I want to do what he's doing. You know what I mean? So I just followed whatever it was. If it's a Chelsea thing, it's a Chelsea thing. Then naturally, I just started to grow to love the club. Do you know what I mean? I grew to love the club. I started going to Stamford Bridge. This is before Roman Abramovich. You know what I mean? This is before Roman Abramovich, St. Chelsea and all that kind of stuff. I used to go to games. Your Marcel Desailly's, Gianfranco Zola's, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbanks.
Hold on. We have another pre-Roman. We got another pre-Roman, people. We got another pre-Roman.
Yeah, man. To be fair, age also plays a part in it. I'm never ashamed to reveal my age. I'm 35, soon to be 36. So I'm well within that era and age group to be able to remember what happened and even remember the transition. But I started going to Chelsea from them days. I'll be honest, it wasn't like every single week season ticket holder thing. It was like whenever I could or whenever my mum said, yes, you can go. That's when you can go to a game. Do you know what I mean? So that's where my love for Chelsea started. And then you start going to school, and then it's not just you that's picking up on the football. You've got your other mates as well. Now, me being from Northwest London, my school was full. I'm telling you, full of Arsenal fans. This is part of the reason why I hate that club so much. Arsenal.
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, but that's the start of my love for Chelsea. That's sort of my path into football, and then obviously Sunday League and all that kind of stuff started to kick in. Where the understanding grew, the playing the game grew. Now you're watching the games different, so the maturity, the stages start to
develop. Yeah, man.
Exactly. So I'd say that's really the beginnings. I don't want to, I don't want to go on too much because I know you want to direct the pod, so I don't really want to waffle.
You're good, bro. We don't waffle over here. You just tell your story and we try and understand your path and how it developed. The only thing I want to take her back to, I remember you said something that triggered a key memory when you used to watch R9 and you want to go out there and replicate. Do you remember when Ronaldinho, in Jamaica we call it pal, but you remember when Ronaldinho rainbow flicked one player like 3 times?
Yeah.
Brother, I remember as a kid, this is when we used to play, we usually play a crusher, so all my Jamaican people who from my community watching this, they know what I talk about. I remember me and my friends. Remember, at this stage we were young, really kids, so we couldn't really get the technique to flip the ball over the head. But we could nothing make. I remember this particular Sunday after the big men, because they used to play like Sunday League football. When Sunday League football finished, the kids would go on the field. So we were on the field and we were on the ball, and I would nug somebody. And each time I would not make somebody would say, 3-peat. So one time, Ronaldinho, 2 times, Ronaldinho. The whole place went wild, and we were little kids. So when you said that just triggered a very key memory.
Yeah.
And
bro, listen, R9 for me had a massive impact. I'll be honest, and I'm never ashamed to say, like, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would. Maybe I wouldn't have got into football. It might have been another sport, but it was him. Remember the famous trim that he had,
bro. Who is that brave today? Who is that? And you know why that trim worked? Because he was so successful.
Yeah, bro. Because it was R9.
If he was a trash player, that would not work.
It was R9. My bro, listen. Yeah, you see, people, I know some of you must be laughing, but let me show you how deep it was when we was youth. This is how much we loved football, yeah? Anywhere we stepped outside, if we could get away with it in church, we would have.
Brawling.
Anywhere we stepped out, every man had AstroTurfs on. Yeah?
Facts.
Brother, you could be wearing a smart trouser a shirt, a tie, but you're trying to get out there with your AstroTurfs on. Because the second you see a ball and people start talking nonsense, you're ready. At least you got your turfs on.
Bro, it was so bad for me. All right, so it would be to get to our church, you would have to drive past the pitch we played on.
Yeah.
The minute church let out, half the time, because everyone lived in the neighborhood, you either bring your clothes to church and change in the church bathroom. So no excuses.
Yeah.
You don't even get on the bus to go home. You just walk to the field, or you go home and everybody sat at that. One time we used I don't know if you know what bag juices are. It would be like Kisco or I don't know juice in a bag basically.
Yeah.
We were kids, so you couldn't afford nothing. So we would do red team versus blue team. Winner gets the drink, and the losers go home thirsty. What the field, bro? Oh god,
Yeah,
we used to save up our lunch money and pay adults from the neighborhood to come and ref us. Bro, it was crazy, bro.
It was a way of life back then. It's mad.
Most definitely. But let's get into it. So you said you were going to school and it was our C or red, basically. All Arsenal fans. So I'm assuming this was a time of Arsenal dominance in the league, picking up back-to-back trophies or picking up league titles.
Yeah, this was during the time where Arsenal were recognised as, one of the top teams in the world, and they were actually doing well. You know what I mean? And Chelsea, for much of that, were not doing so well.
Okay.
It was really the only two teams that you'd hear of: Manchester United and Arsenal. Okay. That's all it was. It was that era. Those of you that are old enough to remember understand exactly what I'm talking about. If it weren't Manchester United winning the league, it was Arsenal winning the league. If it weren't Arsenal winning the league, it was Manchester United.
Manchester United winning it.
So that's the era that I came through. So I saw the time when they had their Vieiras. Even I was young enough to remember like Tony Adams, Ray Parlour and all those guys, David Seaman, Vieira. So they had their eras where they was winning. I used to have to just hear the Arsenal fans because I went to school in Finchley, so like an area in North London. So you can't really get more north than that outside of Islington, Archway, and them sides, Highbury and them sides. That's obviously closer to the Arsenal thing. But in my school, might as well be those people because they were all coming from them ends anyway to our school. So proper Arsenal, bro.
Okay.
It got to a point where you see me, like any fan, you don't even have to be a Chelsea fan, Manchester United fan, whatever, like any fan that used to try and stick banter on to the Arsenal fans, you're getting chased around the playground, you're getting chased through the school, and you better hope you're quick enough to get away because you're getting rushed when they catch you. Especially if it's a loss that hurts. Yeah, so I went to a very Arsenal dominant school. Then funnily enough, after that, it was Manchester United fans that were the most dominant. Imagine that in the school in North London. You'd think it would be a scatter of London clubs, but now it was Manchester United. It's how massive of a club they were. You know what I mean? So
yeah. The natural question that follows up after that, given that you were pre-Roman, what was it like for you going in school when Roman took over, and then the appointment that Jose came in, and then what was that?
I'll be honest with you. When I really look back and reflect, I was a teenager, but I was still young to understand the concept fully, the magnitude of what had happened here. Because it was exciting times, but you're just going with the newspaper saying this, a couple of adults saying this, and then what the other kids are saying, who half of them don't know what they're talking about either. So it's exciting, it's a buzz, but you really still don't know what direction it's going in. So basically, if you was to say to us, like, did we know that we were going to go through this, spell of dominance after the takeover? I would have told you no. I just thought we might have been seeing one or two top players coming in because remember, people think that Chelsea were signing just scrubs and nobodies before Abramovich. No. We had some good players already. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was like, well, we've already had some good players. Let's see if we can start to form a team and form a squad that can actually start to win. And then it was just almost as if everything fell into place perfectly. Because if you remember, Roman weren't even supposed to buy Chelsea.
Facts.
He was supposed to buy Tottenham.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
We give thanks. Yeah, we give thanks. We can't have that. So we came over to the right side, blue side. Stamford Bridge, the classy Chelsea side.
Most definitely.
Bit of real estate and all that kind of stuff. He said, "Yeah, I'll have some of that." So that was brilliant. But yeah, so it just fell into place beautifully, bro. And then we started seeing the emergence of Jose Mourinho and these kind of managers. And anyone that was old enough to understand football at the time and what they were watching, Mourinho turned everybody's head. Everybody was like,
that bravado, bro.
bro, how dare you? How dare you as a manager, bro, that hasn't fully made these bones yet, run down the touchline at Old Trafford and celebrate like that in front of Alex Ferguson.
Listen.
Yeah, that's when I said, this guy here is a problem. Then the moment I knew that we're going into some good times was when I saw we signed Jose Mourinho. That's when I said, oh yeah.
Bro, this man came and slapped up Arsene Wenger just in the press conference. This man was like a puppet master, and these journalists, these everyone in the media room were his puppets. He's the first manager that really garnered the press room. Like, he stepped into the press room and they were afraid to ask questions.
Exactly.
He would manipulate people, bro. What was it like for you going through this, seeing that your manager is talking all this just before he brought him the first trophy?
Okay, again, so I've got to kind of put my mind back to when I was that age, you know what I mean? So for me, it was exciting to see. It was just like, because I used to like those kind of those sportsmen with that kind of bravado. So like your wow, I just had the names in my head and they went. So like your Prince Nassim kind of characters, your Floyd Mayweather kind of characters, those that talk but they back their talk. So I would think, okay, this man just came from Porto after winning a treble and he's talking like this, knowing there's managers like Sir Alex here, there's managers like Arsene Wenger here, there's big strong teams in this Premier League and he's still talking the thing. Yeah, as good as it sounds, I need to see results. And thank goodness. And it was no doubt, it was no fluke, bro. That man believed in his believed in his ability. He believed in his ability. And the one thing that Mourinho had was the ability to take that belief from himself and put it in every single one of those players.
The way he translated that.
Yes,
the way he translated that was next level. Again, the reason why I keep asking for each reaction, for each significant moment, is because you went to Arsenal dominant school. So what was it like when we brought home the League Cup and the league title?
It was, that's when I started saying to Arsenal fans, I was walking around with chest, it was like, yeah, you know what? A new era's coming, innit? A new time's coming. And I remember I was in year 10, so it was around 2004, 2005. No, 2005 is when I left. And that's when like we started winning. And I remember saying to the guys, like, you're so lucky that this guy didn't come like 2 or 3 years ago, because I would have had my share of everything you put me through. But it's gonna hurt either way. But it was when we won those 2 cups, it was like, yeah, something special is being built here as well. It was like definitely something special is being built. The manager, it's just the chemistry between everything, like the manager and the fans, like the love that we had for Jose Mourinho at that time was crazy. It was absolutely insane. Like, you know how they say players would run through a wall for their manager? I believe the fans, Chelsea fans, would have run through the wall for Jose Mourinho as well. So you would have seen the 25-man squad run through and thousands of fans.
Fans was coming right after.
That's what it was. The unity was just unbelievable. And that unity, and then you're seeing the talent and things coming together on the pitch. Of course, like you just knew like something good has to come from this. And then to have the owner as well, Roman Abramovich, first of all, to be the visionary to go and get Jose Mourinho, and then to be the man to be able to, put his hand in his pocket and say, how much does this guy cost? I want him. I don't care who's going after him. We're going to get that player. And we saw it several times. We saw what we've done to Manchester United with Iron Robin, with John Obi Mikel and so on and so forth. Ruthless time, even Peter Kenyon. We took Peter Kenyon from them for that reason. So we took his black book.
Yeah, man.
Because them players were meant to go to Man United, but if we had the book, it was like, nah, you know what? We got a project over here. You're coming London.
Yep. Yeah, I think the appointment of Peter Kenyon was the biggest needle mover for us.
Masterstroke. the most important after obviously Jose Mourinho. Roman Abramovich obviously getting the club. I think the second biggest thing Chelsea ever did was getting him 100%.
And you can say based on the domino effect of what happened after, that was the most important first move he could have ever made. Right?
Yes, exactly. Because this is another thing, right? There's building a team that will win a trophy, maybe 1 or 2 seasons. And then there's building a dynasty. We've seen it with Liverpool, right? They had a spell of dominance, but it was very short-lived in comparison to other clubs, right? With us, when Peter Kenyon came in, he built an infrastructure that allowed us to continue to win relentlessly. He imposed, him and Abramovich, they had the transfer philosophy of no player is too expensive or too good for Chelsea Football Club. We are looking to be or build a model very similar to Real Madrid and hopefully someday overtake them. And you can see it within their actions that that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, because it propelled us from a good club to an elite club and then world class.
Yeah.
So, and even then, some can argue that there's still levels to go for Chelsea, right? So, another set of fan reaction I gotta get before we go a bit further is what was the reaction from the Manchester United fans when, because remember, they were talking all the smack, UCL winners, yada, yada, yada. What was it like when they started to see, there's another horse in this race and we have to take them seriously?
Well, at first, they didn't take us seriously. They didn't take us seriously. You know, Ferguson also as well. There's a few comments that he made was like, well, let's see if they're here to stay or whatever. They didn't look at us like that. And you know what? It's a bit of an earned arrogance in it. Do you know what I mean? It's different when the arrogance is earned, considering like what you've been doing over the past, decade plus. You've been hoarding the trophy, so you can't get away with a bit of that arrogance. So the Chelsea fans the Man United fans that I was talking to, it was like, we're too big of an institution. We're the biggest club in England, and so on and so forth. We're going to continue to win. The top players are still going to choose us over Chelsea. You're just like a Russian-funded club. You're oil money, and you got no class and all this kind of stuff. You know, the yada 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 that they used to do. That's what we used to get. And then when they started to struggle against us, when they couldn't beat us to transfer targets, that's when they started scrambling. And that's when it got fun.
So they started to squabble. Nice. I like to hear a different perspective from when Manchester United. Oh shit, Chelsea's a thing now. Yeah, because I've said this before on here. My brother's a United fan and I'm a Chelsea fan, so we get into it back from time to time. And my father's an Arsenal fan, so that's a whole other.
Your household must be a World War III, cuz.
Brother, thank God I live on my own because I just couldn't. On match days, we would get into it.
Yeah, mad. I can imagine.
Match days, we would get into it. So at that time, growing up, who was the player that you were tied to or associated to Chelsea? Who was, when you see that player put on the jersey, my ball of that. When you're playing ball, I'm that guy that day.
Marcel Desailly. When we're talking like Chelsea, the team itself, it was Marcel Desailly, 100%. I absolutely love that guy. I loved him. Obviously, Gianfranco Zola, who didn't love him.
The Hazard before Hazard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then your guys like Di Matteo. There's so many players, but for me, in that squad, it was really Marcel Desailly. That stood out. You know what I mean? It was just the class, the leadership as well. Another thing is, people. I feel he's a very underrated and underspoken about kind of player because people forget that John Terry was under this guy's tutelage. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
What I mean, John, when you're a young player and you've got a Marcel Desailly and you're touted to be one of the best players because John Terry was touted to be one of the best players at the club, you're gonna obviously work closely and have a relationship with the best centre back at the club. That's gonna kind of guide you. You know what I mean? There's importance of that kind of building, which is why I'm very keen on having a sensible balance of experience and young players coming through to the club. You saw how Thiago Silva, when he came into the club, he helped revolutionise that defence. When he came in, it's no coincidence that we won the Champions League, Club World Cup, and so on and so forth. It's because of that experience. And also, as well, is he's able to lead by example. Although his English is not great, he still managed to adapt and find ways to communicate to his defence what needed to be done. You know what I mean? So it's those things, it's those intangibles for me that help develop the young players and give them that push into becoming perhaps, you know, going into that world-class bracket, which happened with John Terry. In fact, John Terry was an elite defender. You know what I mean? And I think part of that was, obviously it's a mix. It's not only just down to players like Marcel Desailly, it's a mix of, you know, club, the individual player, the support system around the player. But those things all add up. They all paint the bigger picture.
Yeah, most definitely. Because if you can have someone at this level, the potential for you to get to this level is there, but you still need some form of guidance.
Yeah.
Someone to tell you, don't go out tonight, or someone to tell you, hey, raining in that bed. Calm down on your attitude, calm down on your bravado, focus on the basics, improve on the basics, you know, and then started added just anything you can do to get to the next level. It's always good, and that's the best way to develop potential and world-class talents. Same thing when we get there, because I have a question about some signings that are supposed to come in next season for you when we get down later in the podcast. All right, cool. Moving on. What happened after, during, and after high school or school? Did you ever try to play professional, or did you ever try to get into football?
I was already playing like Sunday league football and all that kind of stuff.
What position?
Prince's Park. So it's funny. So I'd be used either centre back or in the midfield, one of the two, or like the holding midfielder. So like basically, you know, the spine before the attack. So
CDM or CDM. You're probably that CDM that dictates the middle of the park and organizes the backline from time to time.
Listen, you know what? Yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't the most vocal player in the squad, but what I was willing to do was kill myself for the squad, 100%. Like, because of the cohesion that we already had, I go to school with some of these guys. I live in the same area as some of these guys, so we'd naturally we'd go to war for each other. So that was my thing. But in terms of like my own ability, I'd say the qualities that I had was picking out a pass, whether it's short distance, long distance, being able to have some kind of control of the tempo, breaking up play. I used to love a tackle. I used to love physicality. I never used to back out of 50-50s. Lost some teeth over there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, trust me. I used to be very physical. And on top of that, it's how we played football in our ends. Do you know what I mean?
You're ready for war.
Yeah, you're from the Caribbean, so you know how Caribbeans and Africans.
I mean, rough tackle.
Know how they play football. 100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So
kick like, man foot until him get up, man.
Exactly. And you see, when you're a youth, right? Sometimes, like when 6-7, one of like the 14, 15-year-olds might come in solid, bro.
Oh, I mean,
and you're trying to firm it, but a tear just
brother. You're a youth, 8-10. They put you in goal, and you're playing with the big men.
Yeah, so
they're not pulling their shots.
This is what I mean. So like, you had to roll with it or get rolled over, literally. So that's how we grew up playing football. We never used to complain about physical challenges. We just used to give it. If you want to give us a nasty challenge, we know how to do something when the ref's back's turned as well. So I those were the qualities that I had, and I played for Prince's Park, which is a team in West Hendon. I used to walk like 45 minutes to get there, bro, because my mum didn't drive. So
walk
all the way, yeah, bro.
I know it is. The love of the game.
Walk all the way there. If I was lucky, one of my brethren's parents will drop me back or drop me some part of the way, so I don't have to walk so long. You know, after the football training, your legs are done out. You've got
mash up.
You just want to get home and shower. You know what I mean? You just want to get home. So, yeah. And I had after I left Prince's Park, I went to one or two other places, and then I ended up having to move to the Midlands. It was not nothing to do with football. It was a family decision. But within that time, I did have trials. I admit I didn't have a knee injury. That's why I'm not going to use that excuse. I just wasn't good enough to cross over into that system. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't good enough. I didn't last long enough. But hey, I was part of the experience. I know what it's like. I saw some very high level football players. I've seen some players that we see now that we previously seen on our TVs. I can honestly say I've kicked all against some of them. Do you know what I mean? That's the story for another day. But I've got a video of that. That's why I'm not going to give away too much. Like, I've got a video of all that kind of stuff. I'm interviewing some players regarding that. So that's coming in the future. But
Can't wait to watch, bro.
So yeah, definitely I do have a bit of footballing experience here and there.
Okay. Good. It's nice to know because a lot of and I may have an interview coming with one. You know, I'm not gonna release the archive files yet.
Yeah.
You know, but one of the questions I love to ask people that grew up in that space, you would have some knowledge of Caribbean culture. So, you know, for me, I'm Jamaican. So in Jamaica, I really, growing up in my time, it's really track and field or cricket. That's the solid. Everybody watch football. Let me just get that out there. But the solid path of going into sports, especially where I grew up, would be either track and field or cricket. Right?
Yeah.
There was no solid path to be a professional player in football. The only, if you really look at it, the only major professional players majority of people who know are probably Leon Bailey and Dujan Whisper. And Dujan Whisper is the first player from Jamaica to get a direct transfer to a top football English club.
Yeah.
So it's extremely difficult. And they came from the more, I want to say, modern part where they could get those chances with the modern football academy. So when I talk to people, I like to ask them, what is the football culture really like in England? For those viewers who don't know, could you translate that? Is it like the government? I don't know. I've never experienced it, so I don't know.
I'd say, well, listen, I can only talk for my era and when I grew up. You know what I mean? It might be very different now because also as well, I'm 10 years removed from England. I've been living in America for all this time. So things obviously have changed and I haven't been there to witness it. But if I speak about my time, in terms of the people, the community, football was the sport. You know what I mean? Football was the sport. It was literally the national sport. If it weren't football, you might get a few people that would like rugby. Those would be more like private school kids and kids that had a bit, because that's what was played there. Do you know what I mean? Like rugby and that. Outside of rugby, boxing was another thing. That was something else I was digging around my uncles and stuff like that. And yeah, that was really it. But the main focus, I would say, was football. Also, as well, you mentioned about the government and schools and so on and so forth. They very much incentivized football. They did. I mean, for my school that I went to, St. Joseph's in Hendon, they very much were supportive of football. I mean, we shared an AstroTurf at the time, and that was pretty unheard of with Middlesex University. At the time, state of the art stuff. I remember going on, because that's the first time I went on turf. I remember going on there, and I was so confused because I was seeing, like, you know, when
the black, I play on turf. Sorry,
but them times there, right? They used to use, I don't know if they still do. You know, the salt they use for the roads when it's snowing.
Yeah.
Put that in the turf. The turf felt soft, right? But then the first game that we played, because that was our home ground for the football team. Obviously, man was in the football team. The first slide tackle that I made, rude boy. Yeah, I swear down, I left like, I'd say, a quarter of my skin on the turf. Yeah, and I'm looking
that's real.
Yeah, and I've said to the other defenders, hey, look, don't be sliding in too tough because look at my leg. But like, again, going back to what we were saying, we come from an ends where, like, when you're hurt or you're scraped, there's no crying. There's no man saying I need to get.
The other team can't smell that weakness. You mad?
Nah, bro, you carry on like a soldier. You know what I mean? So it was very much incentivized, man. And even secondary school. At my secondary school, there was a guy called Mr. Wilson who was he became the head of year. Pick up Mr. Wilson. But he was actually a scout for Watford. He was a scout for Watford while he was the teacher. So, like, we didn't know this. And one day he came to a game in a Watford tracksuit. We're just thinking, right, is this Mr. Wilson? Why is he watching our game? And since when is he a Watford supporter? And he's there with his book. And then Mr. Wilson is like, yeah, I scout for Watford as well. And he gave these two players in our team. I wasn't one of them. I wish I was, but I wasn't one of them. One guy called Connor, who ended up moving to Ireland. Absolutely. And he came from my primary school as well. Another guy called Jermaine. I hope you don't mind me saying his name. Is one of my closest friends. I grew up with him. Another one from our school. So two people from my primary school that got into the secondary school football team. Those were the only two that got scouted to Watford. And that's when it kind of opened up the rest of our eyes. Like, rah, so there are actually professional clubs that do watch us, that do scout us. Granted, he's a teacher, but like, if he's doing it, surely there's got to be others.
Yeah, man, some secret scout about the place.
Yeah. So that's when we started to say, you know what, Jermaine, instead of hating, because we loved it for each other. Anytime somebody had opportunities, it was never a hating thing, never a jealousy thing. You know what I mean? So when Jermaine and Connor got the trials and they got into the academies, it was like, you know what, lads, soon come in it. Soon come. If we're not at the same club, we're gonna be at different club. But soon come,
that's the dream.
Voting at the same time. Yeah, man. Trust me. But when they hit academy, it was like nothing changed. They were still allowed to play Sunday league games with us. They were still allowed to train with us from time to time. So it felt like nothing had changed until, like, I'd say the following season, when they actually started getting very heavily involved within the first team squad of their age group. That's when it started to become restricted. They couldn't play like certain school games. They couldn't play Sunday league games and stuff like that. It was the politics. So now, while there was that massive vacancy of those two massively talented players in our school that are now no longer allowed to play for very good reasons, now it's up to us to step up. And that's what they said to us. They're like, yo, we can't play, but this is your chance to step in and show like you belong where we are. And that's what we did. We just tried to do that every single week, man.
Nice. Damn. Okay, what your story is telling me is that a man that's back home or anywhere else thinking that they have a chance to get into some of these clubs. Talent is really a thing, but not also that the level of competition it must be like to get into some of these clubs.
Bridget, let me tell you something.
That'd be crazy.
Back then, and listen, people, I really don't want to sound like an old head or a hate or whatever.
No, man, tell that story, bro.
I have to tell the truth. The standard back then to get to a professional football club was a lot more difficult than it is now. And the reason why I say that is because, although, listen, congrats to them, and yes, they can play. They're good players. The ones that I see coming through now, compared to seeing back in the day, it's clear.
Night and day, bro.
So much harder.
Call it a buck, bro.
Night and day was just up. And remember as well is during those times, football was not as rigid and structured and as tactical as what it is now. So the ability to show like your flair, so like to spot your Ronaldinhos and your Zolas, those things were actually encouraged back then. Like I feel like in this era, sort of being coached out and this, you know, a lot more focused on systems and physicality rather than the technical side. Because back in the day, for you to get signed, even by a Sunday league team, right? There are two things that you had to do. Number one, you had to have the football brain. Yeah, if you don't have the shape, we'll get there. That's what training's for. But if you've got the brain and the will, that's number one. Number two, they used to take the football, kick it as high up in the air as possible.
What was their touch like?
Whatever you came with, go and control that ball. If you did not control that ball, that manager was just going back to his conversation.
Damn.
Yeah, that would be it.
What's the touch like?
This is what I'm saying. Damn. So it was the brain, it was the creativity, it was the artistic side that was rewarded back then.
Bro, I absolutely love that era because when people deem the term magic, that's what it was like growing up watching the sport. You see a man take the ball down on his thigh, flick it over someone's head, lands perfectly at his feet, elastic go through the legs, and he's off. And you're like, brother, what?
Yeah, facts.
What?
Big facts. Listen, and this is the thing is like, you wouldn't just find these players at Real Madrid or whatever.
Everywhere, bro.
You'd go to Southampton thinking you're getting 3 points, and Matt Letizia would absolutely
Pack it
he would
in, bro.
do things with the football and go to the pub straight after the game, by the way, that you wouldn't even believe. And
Bro.
he scored the wildest goals, and you'd find this all over England, bro.
Bro, man like Leighton Baines, bro. Man,
these
bro.
kind of guys. This is what I'm saying. They were everywhere, fam.
Bro, like,
remember even the Middlesbrough team, like you had guys like your Juninho's and all these guys that were playing. Like,
bro,
no joke. Your Boltons, they'd be signing mad players, JJ Okochas and all that.
bro.
Yeah, man.
When JJ Okocha was at next level, bro.
Yeah.
He was one of the best. Yo, you know what? We're gonna have to have a show, just a podcast, where we talk about the transition of football and
100%.
Yo, bro, the nostalgia. All right, moving on because we run out of time. Damn, I'm probably gonna need a part 2. Content creation.
We have to do a part 2, 100%. I'm enjoying this too much.
Yeah, bro. Content creation.
Yeah.
When did that start? How did that start? Give us the birth of that.
So now we're fast forwarding many years.
Yeah.
To when I'm here in the States. It was during the time of COVID, right? But it was also before COVID. Like, I didn't come up, I'll be honest with you, I didn't come up with the idea. I didn't even want to do it. It was my wife. My wife was like, the way you watch football and the way you cuss at the TV and the way you talk about football with your friends, you should probably go on YouTube and do it. Like,
shout out to wife. She gave us a good one. She hold on. Let me boss there. She gave us a good one. She gave us a good one.
No, she did. So really and truly, you've got her to thank. So, and the thing is, it's not that she would say it just once and forget about it. It's every time I'd watch the game, she'd be like, I wish I could have a camera. And then when my son was born, my son, the first piece of clothing that he had was a Chelsea onesie. The first,
this is it's a dictatorship. You don't get to choose.
The first. He didn't get to choose. He had no chance coming out of the womb, so he was wearing that. And he's seen me when he opened his eyes. He's seen his dad. He's seen a Chelsea shirt. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
What else?
I'm a Chelsea shirt with my son's name on it at the back. Same thing with my daughter. My missus was like, nah, listen, it's too much now. You just get a camera. It's COVID. You can't work. Just film and just see what happens. And then that's where it started. I just turned on the camera. My first ever video is still on the Mando's Football channel. It's still there. Like, I was nervous as hell. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen, how many views I was going to get. And yeah, I just did it. I just kept on talking to the camera, kept uploading, learning as I'm going along, making mistakes. And
me right now.
Going through it. I was just going through. I was just paying my dues. Do you know what I mean? I was grateful for every single view I was getting. So at first I was getting like 12 views, and I say to my missus, "Yo, babes, I got 12 views. You know,
12 people watching. You viewed my video."
And then it went up to 34. Yo, I got 34 views, babe. Yeah,
that's
22 more views than I did last. And like for every single thing, I was grateful, and for everybody I was interacting with, like content creators, people that you'd meet in the live chats or your comments. Like I just loved it. You know what I mean? And then from there, it was a case of developing a partnership with the Football Factory, because I just had this vision. I just said, got this YouTube channel, but I'm an Englishman in New York, and nobody's really doing it here, especially for the Premier League clubs. So I went on Google and I looked at different football bars, and then I found the Football Factory, which is the biggest bar that shows football in the entire city. When I tell you it 1000% is. It goes off in there. But I went in there. I spoke to the owner, Jack Keane, who is now a very, very good friend of mine. I love that guy. Big up Jack Keane, owner of the Football Factory. That's somebody else you should interview. He's got a great story. Absolutely brilliant story.
Link, bro.
Yeah,
link
we'll make that happen. We'll make that happen. So I spoke to him and I laid it out to him, and I was just real with it. I just said, your place is perfect. And the thing is, he's a Man United fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. Like, a big Man United fan. So I thought this guy was going to say, this guy's he's not going to agree. Yeah. But Jack goes in his Irish accent. I'm not going to try and imitate him. Fucking kill me if I do. But, he was like, you know what? Ash, that's my real name. Guni. You know what? a lot of people have come to me with a vision, and I actually like you because I feel like you're genuine. So I'm just gonna allow you. Whatever match day, you can come in and you can just record or whatever. And I did. I used to turn up, and remember, we're 5 hours behind the UK. So match days are sometimes when it's the 12 o'clock or 12:30.
When we have the 7:30 a.m.
I'm at the
kickoff.
football factory, bro.
Bro, I'm showing up next time. That boat. And I live so close to you.
I'm at the football, yeah. Well, at that time, I was very much at the football factory. I was there, had my lights, had my cameras, go around to people, just trying to get interviews, and that's what I did. And Troops, there was news that he got signed to Barstool. I paid no attention to it whatsoever. It was actually one of my very good friends, Leon, from East London in Wolford. Well, it's not Wolf. Is it Wolford? No, it's Chingford. He's from Chingford. Big up Leon. That's one of my best friends.
Big up, Leon.
Yeah, we used to talk all the time. And he'd be like, you know what? Troops is moving over to New York, you know. Aren't you, man, from the same ends? I said, yeah, we're from the same end. It's like, I'm telling you, something's going to happen. Me, I'm not forcing it. I'm just doing my thing. And then one of my brethrens on WhatsApp, he forwarded me Troops' number. Because obviously we're all from the same ends. So it's like, yeah, I told Troops about you. Just drop him a message because he's over there in the States. I dropped Troops a message. He responds like, who's this? I told him who I was. I told him, obviously I'm in New York. I live here. Got a family. I'm from ends. Like I'm from very close to where he is. Like literally walking distance. So we're pretty much from the same ends and we know the same people. You know what I mean? So he came over to the football factory. I can't remember if it was a surprise or if we'd linked up before that. I can't remember. But anyway, he was there and he saw me interviewing people and he was like, yeah, you know what? You should keep doing what you're doing. Carry on. And that day he didn't mention anything. He just used to come every time I had interviewed. So we started linking up. And one day he was like, you know what, bro? No, I said to him first, nah, I'm not going to do that to Troops because I know he's got big pride. So I'm going to be honest here. I said to him, bro, like I said, like one day I'm going to get on that seat with you and Zara, you know, because I need to talk football with you. And he's like, so what are you saying? You want to jump on a podcast then? And like in my head, I'm like, I don't know if he's being serious. I said, yeah, of course I'd do it. And it's all right, cool, next episode.
Brawling. No double thinking.
This is but this is the thing, yeah? You got to understand, I'm going from 110, 115 views max. From the football factory or in my bedroom on a budget to walking into mainstream Barstool Sports with big Troops and Zar while they are, do you know what I mean? So it's like Jamie Vardy going from non-league football
to win a Premier League title.
It's like, when did we get here? Yeah, so like, yeah, it was mad. So bro, I remember my first episode, I think I was getting on Troops' nerves because I was so nervous. It's like, bro, what if people don't like me? Like, there's over 100,000 people that I've never had this kind of attention. I've never been, like, I'm bare nervous. Troops, what am I supposed to do? It's like, relax. Just do what you've been doing. It's like, ain't nothing special. Just relax. I say, it's easy for you to say.
Because you've been doing this.
Yeah. Like, you've been exposed to this for time. And I said, I'm not even going from like, you know, the match cams on AFTV and that.
Yeah.
I'm going straight to mainstream America, Barstool Sports. Like,
facts from Man, I come from bedroom to mainstream. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so first episode was done. I felt the nervousness left me, but then it was like, what are people gonna think when the video's out? And like, I think Troops and Zar and Jet Ski, you know, the cast that's also behind the video, the podcast at Barstool. I think they could see that I wasn't entirely myself. I was still a little uncomfortable. And then I noticed Troops started, like, he went from, you know, the introductory phase of understanding of coming in to just relentless. I think somewhere in his mind he just said, fuck it. If I don't give him the rough treatment, he's never going to develop and come out of his shell. And I didn't understand that at the time, but that's what he did. And it allowed me to kind of get my character out. I started to get a lot more confidence, having to defend myself against Troops and Zara, being the only Chelsea fan and watching the comments and people say, you know what I mean? That's what really built me. So I'll forever be grateful to him.
Mhm.
Massive respect and you know, thanks to Troops, Zar as well. Zar is to this day I still chat to Zar, you know.
Mhm.
Very humble, down to earth, good guy. I
Mhm.
love Zar to bits. And you know, quite a few people at Barstool as well, Jet Ski, Jack Mac, they made it, you know, they made the transition quite seamless for me. You know, they didn't treat me any different. They just treated me as a friend and they showed me what the expectations were.
Mhm.
And they was just confident that I could do a job. And I think all of that helped.
Mhm.
100%.
No, damn. Bro, damn, bro. Getting lost in this. Because I resonate somewhat because even when I'm doing my match reviews and my match previews, it's weird talking to a camera. If
Yeah.
I'm talking to someone, oh, we go get into it. If anyone seen me on some of Feroze's playback streams or Mrs. Playback stream or when we're partnering, we can get into it. Especially when we start to get into the granular details of the game. We could get into it, but talking to a camera by yourself, bro, sometimes it's
It's not easy.
it's not easy. It's not
Not
easy.
easy.
Not easy.
And
So
that's part of the skill. Like, even before I got in the YouTube game, because they made it look so easy, naturally you thought, I can do this. I could do this. I could turn on the camera and just talk football. But then you realize that, oh,
yeah,
like
bro. And then
10 minutes is actually a long time to talk to the camera.
bro, I'm missing that, bro. You know what the best thing is? There's sometimes I'm recording and I'm like, shit, gotta start over. Shit, gotta start over.
Yeah,
And then I'm like,
yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna just power through and put it out there. It is what it is. But I resonate with that story so much. But obviously, I'm not on. I'm on All You Can Eat Chelsea. So when Matisse just threw me in, he didn't introduce me or anything, and I had to talk. I'm seeing the comment section goes by, who's this Danny? Who's that hiding behind him? Like, bet him. What's his name? And I'm like, God, I didn't even say nothing yet.
It's the Lions then, yeah. It's the Lions then, bro.
Yeah. So with that being said, in in your transitioning into this space and being one of the bigger names in the Chelsea space because you garner a lot of following. What was it like knowing that you had a responsibility to these people?
I didn't look at it that way because
Mhm.
I never looked at myself as a person who had any kind of following. I just looked at it as I knew I had followers, I knew I had comments and stuff, but I never looked at it like that. I just looked at myself as just a regular guy and try and conduct yourself in a way that's going to be a positive reflection of your family as
Mhm.
well. Because remember, you're representing them first and foremost.
Facts.
But then at the same time, also be true to yourself. And being true to yourself is naturally displaying emotions. Yes, sometimes I might F and blind here, use bad language, say certain things, but football is an emotional sport as
Most
well.
definitely.
There's a whole emotion that goes into it. And I didn't want to shy away from that. So it was a bit of both. At first, again, it's like, do I want to portray myself as this person to hundreds of thousands and millions of people? Because, you know, not just working with Troops, through working with Troops, I got to do streams of expressions and so on, and those garner a lot of views. So I was kind of in a fight within myself as to how I wanted to present myself. You know what I mean? Because my son very much looks up to me, as does my daughter, and you know, as a parent, you're trying to mold them and push them towards a certain direction
Mhm.
and a certain path. So I was very much battling between those two things. But eventually, you just get comfortable. You find your space. You know, you find what you will tolerate,
Mhm.
what you will not tolerate.
Mhm.
You know, depending on the kind of person you are, I'm very much like this. I stood on my morals. I knew there were certain things that I would not do. There's certain things that I wouldn't accept. And as long as those boundaries were not crossed, then, you know, it should be
Free
all right.
reign.
It should be fine. You know what I
Free
mean?
reign. Yeah. You mentioned your son and your daughter,
Yeah.
and that you have a family. Is there anything that you took from football, given that you've seen different eras of football, that you learned from the game that you can apply to real life, and that you try to impart on your off, I would say offsprings, but your son and your daughter?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question actually, and I feel it's a question that should be asked a lot more, especially around content creators.
Mhm.
Absolutely, because football also helped me become the person that I am today. Because it's more than just about chasing a ball around for 90 minutes and trying to put it in between some sticks and the net. It's more than that. It's about being unselfish, sacrificing for the team, man management, understanding not all 11 players match your personality and that you have to manage different personalities. It's about understanding hard work and knowing that hard work yields results. My mum used to say, no hard work goes in vain. Those are the things, the principles that you take. And then obviously it's what your managers and coaches show you, because they also help you in terms of your development as a man. You know what I mean? Because they are an authoritative figure over you that are trying to help you develop to become the best that you can be in football. And part of that is also managing the person. So there are things that I consciously and subconsciously take from football that I apply to my kids 100%. One of those is, especially with my son and my daughter, my son very much, because he loves sports. He's very much into sports. He boxes like 4 times a week, and he also plays football while going to school. Don't know how it fits it all in, but he does. Do you know what I mean? Big up his mum. Yeah, so
your son outside, brother.
Yeah, son's outside. Do you know what I mean? But one thing that I tell him is never be afraid. Don't be afraid to express yourself, because sports is also a form of art as well. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid. Respect the technical ability of what you're doing, but with that technical ability, you also don't be afraid to be creative. That's why we've got your favorite players like one of his favorite players now, Cole Palmer, Eden Hazard, and so on. And so these kind of players, they're not afraid to try. They've got the arrogance with the skill to match it up. So never be afraid to be yourself, and always sharpen up your skills when it comes to technical. And that's just not sport. You know what I mean? It's anything else. Approach things with confidence. Understand when you're doing group work, like sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Sometimes, it's those. I couldn't pinpoint and tell you, but I just know there's certain things that I do that I've taken from football and given to my kids. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, most definitely, because a lot of people don't realize that football is a way of life for some people.
Yeah.
So when people, and that's one of the reasons why I started this series, because I want people to understand when the bigger content creators are saying things, it's coming from a place where they see how they see football through their eyes.
Yeah.
And how football affects them. So when I remember, football is very subjective. So when a man is going to say, listen, he shouldn't be playing there, he shouldn't be on the pitch, or this, that, and the third, it's coming from a place of, what era are they from? What era were they birthed in this football thing?
Yeah.
Right? And then that's, because I'm going to be honest with you, when I got introduced to you, you said some things that I didn't resonate with at the time.
Yeah.
But then, looking back, because I'm from the start of the Roman era, which also encompasses the Ronaldinhos, the Robinhos.
Yeah. You had that quality as well, yeah.
Exactly, because I didn't like football when I started, but my father forced me to watch it, because I wanted to watch cartoons and all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
And then, once I got hooked, I hooked. But then, I realized that this is what life is. Magical times, or in the sense of when you're playing, that's the fun parts, right?
Yeah.
When your teams are losing games, those are the down parts of your life.
Exactly.
When you're winning games, when you go to overcome games, that's you overcoming obstacles in life. Then go again the next day. So all of this is saying, man. I like your answer, and it's just a part of life. We're gonna have to have a part 2, because we still gotta get into the latter end of 100%. It and your thoughts on the new ownership, and we're going forward.
100%.
But 100%. I'm gonna wrap it up right there. Thank you for joining us on the Final Whistle podcast. This has been the interview, the one-on-one with Javon with Guni Part 1. Guni, tell the people where they can find you.
Right now, I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't been so active on my YouTube channel, but if you do want to go back and watch some of my stuff, it's Man Knows Football. I do feature sometimes when I do have the time. So with Saeed, Lee Gunner, and other platforms as well. Do you know what I mean? So just keep an eye out in the space. You might see my face. You know what I mean? And you'll definitely see me back here. We'll definitely do a part 2. I really enjoyed the discussion. Javon, once again, thank you for inviting me. And big up to everybody that is watching. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, leave your thoughts down there in the comments as well, because there's a lot of new things that you've learned about me today that I've never even spoke about on my channel. So a couple of exclusives here. Javon's doing a great job. Make sure you give him the support he deserves. You know what I mean?
Thank you. And people, tell us the big things that come soon from both Guni. So we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.